So, what if I told you that a policy change happening right now in Japan could dramatically reshape Nigeria's economy and potentially wipe out your savings? Well, I hope not. So, stay with me, right? Because the economic domino effect is already in motion. And understanding it could be the difference between protecting your wealth and watching it evaporate. Now, here's the thing. While most people will be caught off guard, a small group of people are quietly positioning themselves to not just survive, but to thrive. And what I'm about to share with you is not financial advice. It's the economic reality that we're faced with. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why the smartest investors and entrepreneurs are making moves right now that most people won't understand until it's too late. Let's start with Japan. You see, for decades, they've operated what seemed like economic magic: 0% interest rates, also known as the yen carry. Imagine borrowing money for free. Like, imagine walking into Zenith Bank right now and telling the bank manager you want to borrow some money. They're like, oh, yeah, take it. It's 0%. You don't need to pay us any interest. That's essentially what Japan has been doing to stimulate the economy for years. But here's the problem: this system is breaking down. With an aging population, declining productivity, and inflation rates hitting record highs, Japan can no longer sustain this 0% policy. Since 2024, they have started raising rates. And this is where things get interesting for the rest of the world. Because you see, Japan is not just any other country in the global economy, they are the largest holders of US Treasury bonds. And newsflash, if they need to protect their economy, this is a solid asset for them to sell. 1.3 trillion, almost 1.3 trillion dollars, I think, in treasury bonds is what they own. They would probably sell that. And even the Minister of Finance, right, their Minister of Finance had alluded to this being one of the cards that they could potentially play in the future. So now here's where it gets personal for us, right? If slash when Japan starts selling those bonds, bond prices globally will start to rise. And bond prices, higher bond prices mean higher interest rates everywhere, including, newsflash, in Nigeria. So think about this. Our governments are currently paying around 20% interest rates, 20% to borrow money, while our economy only grows at allegedly 3%. That's not sustainable. And it's about to get worse. Because as the Gen Zs would say, right, the math is just not mathing. When global money becomes more expensive, countries like Nigeria have to pay more to attract investors because we're already considered as higher risk economies, right? And right now we are already competing with the safer investments, right? Who are currently offering better returns than they have in years. So if we need to then increase those rates, just imagine the financial burden that we would have to bear. And our government already plans to sell about 13 trillion naira in bonds just to finance this year's budget. That's before considering additional borrowing for infrastructural projects. If global interests spike because of the Japanese situation, our borrowing costs could become absolutely unsustainable. And here's what terrifies me: most Nigerians have no idea this is coming. People are already barely scraping by. And for others who even have a bit of disposable income, a lot of that just sits in the Naira account or in government bonds or just some basic local asset, right, or investment. They are not just unprepared, they're perfectly positioned to lose everything they've worked for. Picture this: global interest rates start rising, making it harder for our government to borrow money. They respond by raising taxes and levies and getting more aggressive, right, with tax collection to finance the current or the next budget. Meanwhile, international investors pull money out of emerging markets like Nigeria to chase better returns in developed countries. The Central Bank of Nigeria, who's already working overtime to support the naira, using various financial instruments to create artificial demand for the naira while providing um, dollar to manage our supply side, would have a hard time getting USD at sustainable rates due to the global capital market flowing into relatively more stable economies like the US. If the CBN can maintain the current level of market intervention, we could see significant naira devaluation, making everything we import more expensive. The naira weakens, inflation spikes, your cost of living explodes, while your naira dominated income stays the same. Sounds familiar? Is it We've been in similar positions a few times in the last decade, but this time the global conditions are setting up for a much bigger shock. And here's the cruel irony: while regular people are getting crushed, there's a small group of people that are going to make a fortune from this situation. The winners, they saw this coming. They diversified their assets and they diversified into assets that benefit when local currency weakens. They built income streams and stronger currencies. They position themselves in sectors that thrive during economic uncertainty. But here's something else the winners are doing that most people are currently missing out. They're building what I call crisis proof income. Income that doesn't depend on the naira, CBN, or our government economic policies. While everyone is worried about inflation eating their savings or inflation just choking them, right? These people are building income streams that actually grow stronger during economic chaos. They're the ones whom you see buying new cars, buying new houses, and living large. See, we're in the middle of the biggest knowledge gold rush in human history. See, most people don't realize it's happening. Right now, there are people making serious money in dollars, dirhams, euros, pounds by packaging what they know and selling it globally. Not just courses and coaching, but something even much more powerful: AI agents and automated systems that solve real world problems for real people and businesses. Think about it. While traditional markets are growing more volatile and unpredictable, the demand for knowledge, solution, and automation is exploding. Companies globally are desperately, desperately looking for ways to automate processes, solve problems, increase efficiency, and reduce cost. But here's the breakthrough that changed everything. Until recently, sharing these AI agents required serious technical skills. You need to be a developer, understand complex platforms, spend months learning automation tools like Make or Anytime or Langflow, change chase prospects for weeks or months, and create multiple demos before they commit to paying the dime. And then rinse and repeat for the next prospect or client. That barrier just disappeared. There are now platforms that let you take AI agents and workflows that you've built on almost any platform, provides you with a UI, which you can then share with anyone in the world as easily as you can share a Google document. That's what Moldlane does. There's a link to that here. And just like that, you've created a solution. You don't need to do hundreds of demos just to get a single client now. You can sell it to hundreds of people. You can send it to a potential client and they can play around with it and you then upsell them, right? And people are already doing this and earning a ton of money. This is happening right now. People are building AI agents that handle customer service, automate business processes, analyze data, solve specific problems. They're converting their expertise into agents. And the reality is that most Nigerians actually have a unique advantage in this space that they don't realize. See, as Nigerians, we are problem solvers, right? We are the ones who are under resourced but produce more than what we are given, right, in the workplace. We take the little and we take the little and we turn it into a molehill, right? We figured out ways around unreliable power, complex logistics, government, difficult business environments. We solve problems that most people in the developed markets just would not even understand. We understand problems that people in easier markets can't even fathom. That problem solving experience, it's a gold mine in the AI agent space. You see, the ability to see solutions that others miss, to understand real world business challenges, that's exactly what the global market is paying premium prices for. And unlike traditional exports or businesses, this doesn't require massive capital, government permissions, or complex logistics. You can build it from your laptop and sell it worldwide. The people who are winning big in this space aren't necessarily the most technical, they are the ones who understand real problems and can create solutions that people actually want to pay for. And here's the urgent part, this window won't stay open forever. Right now, we're in the early adopter phase. The tools are new, the market's saturated, and there's a massive opportunity for people to move fast. Every month that passes, more people discover this opportunity. Every month, the competition increases. Every month, it becomes harder to stand out. The people who are going to win big are the ones who start building now. While most are still worried about traditional investments and haven't even heard about AI agent opportunity. And remember, what you're building while you're building these crisis proof income streams, that economic storm I mentioned at the beginning is still coming. The people who wait are going to face the storm with no protection, but those who act now are going to weather it from a position of strength. So make a choice. You can continue doing what everyone else is doing, keep your money in Naira, keeping your hedging your bet on your job only, or you can explore new opportunities. If this opened your eyes to what's really happening, hit subscribe and the notification bell, and check out. And I'll list all the tools that we actually use here, from Anytan to Make and Moldlane, just so you can take a look at it and start learning and start building. Um, Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share this with anyone whom you think this might be useful for. And see you later. Bye.